MrTruck here. I'm here at my truck yard, and today we're going to go over trailer accessories. And I have put a lot of them on this trailer. This is my favorite trailer. This is a load trail tilt trailer. It's 22 feet long. There's 18 feet of the tilt bed, and it's got torsion axles. That gives you lower to the ground, and it makes you a little wider than leaf springs would do. So this is a new model that came out with about 3 or 4 years ago. But on torsion axles, you also try to level out as much as you can because the axles are a little bit farther forward because of the tilt. So you have to really be careful making sure you're loading as much weight forward as you can on this so that both weights equal. I've had a lot of blowouts with the 10-ply tires on this, and of course I switched to 14-ply. Then I also switched to the Tucson trailer tire pressure monitoring system, which is a valve stem in each tire, just like on your new truck or car. Then it has a repeater that goes on a tongue that takes the signal from the tires and goes to your cab, and you can move it to any truck you want. It goes clear up to 203 pounds of pressure, and it measures your heat, so you know if a bearing's going out or your brake's having a problem besides the tire pressure. You have all that information, which will really help you. So I went to 14-ply tires, have the tire pressure monitoring from Tucson in here, and that solved the tire problem. Another great tire to use is the bore wheels. Bore wheel and tire, they make a replacement for these. These are 16-inch tires. And we can put a 19.5 in that same spot. Same bolt circle, fits basically the same spot. And you can go 14, 16-ply with bore tire and wheel. That's a very good thing. We've tested those on several trailers. I had it on this. We moved it to a horse trailer. Now it's on another horse trailer we're testing. So the bore wheel and tire, those 19.5s, nice stiff sidewalls so you don't twist as much turning corners, especially the triple axle. And you don't have the blowouts. You know, you eliminate all those heat problems. So that combination of the Tucson trailer tire pressure monitoring system and those bore 19.5 wheels can solve your tire problems, because you know we hate breaking down the road, especially in the heat and all that. Now this trailer, it's a tilt trailer, and we got these from Load Trail, and in Jayhawk trailers put these on, welded them on, fabricated them, so I can drive on here with my Dodgezilla Overkill. It's got those big wide tires on it, kind of like our new truck here, the Ranch Boy. And that way I can drive over the fenders with those big wide tires and still use the tilt and not have to, you know, change trailers. So I really like that. But this tilt, it's made so, you know, it'll drop down, and then as you drive forward, it levels itself out again. It's got a giant cylinder down there that works both ways, helps tilt it up and helps bring it back down slowly. So all you have to do is turn a valve, and I don't know if you can see that from there, but that's the valve you turn to activate the cylinder. And then you have this mechanical lever here that gets stuck. It's getting a little rusty. Now also, we've got this Harbor Freight winch. I've got Warren winches on our ATV, but on this I couldn't afford a 12,000-pound Warren winch. So this is Harbor Freight. We use it all the time. It has a remote, so I can actually pull myself up, be in the vehicle that I'm loading, and run the winch and steer the vehicle. It's a great combination to have, being able to steer and load with the winch. But because I welded the winch to the first part of the 18-foot tilt, or the 18-foot tilt, and another 4-foot section and above that, that makes it a 22-foot trailer. But that winch is a little heavy, so sometimes when I want to tilt it, I have to have somebody stand back here or take the winch off if I don't need it. But I've kind of counterbalanced it too much, and you can see that's what it tilts. So it's a very low to the ground, a very slight tilt, so I could load Lamborghinis on this, which is really cool. Of course, I've welded on some extra tie downs, and we're going to run some 4x6s inside the fender wells for the vehicles that don't drive over the fenders. But that's how that works. I love tilt trailers. You drive forward and it tilts back down. Then I just have to lock it back in place. This is the manual lever, and that's locked, and then I lock the valve, and that's all ready to go. This is the floor of the deck of the trailer, and I've added some more wood to it, so when I'm driving cars on here, I can get above the fender with the door. And then I'm going to put a 4x6 piece inside here for the taller trucks, so that when you're climbing over the fender, you can drive back on wood along with the railing that's not wide enough for the tires. So I'm going to add some wood there. Then I'm going to coat all this wood with a bed liner like I used on Dodgezilla Overkill. And I'm going to put that in the back of the truck, do the inside bed liner for Ranch Boy and for Dodgezilla Overkill. And then I'm going to put in this trailer because that gives you good traction, and it, you know, preserves the wood, because the wood does get beat up on these trailers, especially in Colorado where it's so dry. The wood dries out and tries to curl on you. You know, I have a lot of favorite trailer accessories, and one of my new ones is this Hendricks thread protector. Got this at the North American Trader Dealer Association last year. This is a Greasable Lug Net. Now the guy made this, Mr. Hendricks, that was for the boat problem he had. You know, you back a boat in the water, you got rust. You got rust on everything. So he had problems with lug nets, so he thought, well, I'll make a greasable one. And I thought, hey, that's a cool idea. And this is also, you can actually turn it with a crescent wrench. But the studs on my trailer, I mean, I don't have a boat. My problem is when I take and get a tire fixed or buy new tires, they impact the hell out of them at these tire shops. And that stretches the threads. And then it's, you know, you're out in the field with a flat tire, you can hardly get these lug nets off, the regular lug nets. So he came up with this idea that these will go on here. This replaces your lug nuts. Now the Hendricks thread protector, that it is awesome, and I'm going to test and find out how it works, you know, with these high impacted nuts. But if you're, you know, out in the middle somewhere and you don't have a tire wrench, a crescent wrench will move these off. It's amazing. Well thought out system. Now I'm going to put it on this lug nut that I left open for the demonstration, and I'll grease circuit with one pump and then spin it on. Now you can see how long it took to pull that off, and that's because those threads have been stretched so much. Now I'll take the Hendricks thread protector, and I'll start off with this covering the threads, and there's the grease zerk. Then when you put it on, you'll zip it on, and then you'll put this on the other side to protect the grease zerk. Okay, now it's actually one size bigger, so put a bigger thread on there on the impact, and then I'll start this on there on the threads. Can you get a close-up kind of me doing that? Spin it on there a little bit, take the grease gun and pump it one time. That's all it takes. And then I got the bigger zerk, and I'm going to spin this one on. That's all there was to it. Now it's spun on a lot faster because of the grease. Then I'll put the little cap on it. That's all there is to it. But I really like these. We're going to try them out and see if my theory about the impacts is true, and hopefully not stretch the threads as bad. Now of course I've got a deep cycle battery, but you know, you got to maintain these batteries. And I've got a wire mesh, but you know, I do a lot of stuff on these, and I use a lot of voltage. I'm going to put electric jack on it next. I've got the winch, but there's cool things I like. I'm going to show you. Now, another one of my favorite accessories is solar pulse. This is a 5-watt solar panel. It's an industrial one. I've never heard it, even in big hailstorms that we had not too long ago. Did not heard it. But that rascal charges my battery, and it's an interesting thing. There's a box here And this box here is a control box. I don't know if you can see the red light on top, but it's solid. And that red light solid means it's charged. When it is charged, and even on a cloudy day, it'll flash. And what that does from Pulse Solar, that actually I got from Premier Supply, and I'll give you the website on that. And that actually trickle charges your battery all the time. So your batteries are such a pain in the butt. I think I counted up all my batteries one day and all my tires. It's unbelievable what I spend on these vehicles, on all that maintenance. But this trickle charger will actually knock the sulfates off your lead plates back into the acid wash and rejuvenate it. So your batteries can last 2 or 3 times longer. And then your battery's always charged instead of waiting for you to plug it into the truck and then hopefully it charges. I put this on my toy hauler too, on the RV, and that really makes a lot of sense. Now this box up here, also from Premier Supply, this is that tailgate charger. And what that does is on semis, the ones with the big tailgate in the back, it's all hydraulic. This will charge that because those get ran down pretty fast. And it'll also hook up to your truck's battery, it'll hook up to the battery on the trailer, and it'll regulate all that. And you can switch it between a regular cell battery, or a gel battery. And then you can decide if you want it to draw juice off the truck while it's setting still. And it'll only pull down to like 9 volts, and then it shuts off so it doesn't decharge your truck. And then it'll charge all the way up to like 16 volts. But that little box amplifies everything going on back here electronically. So if you got a winch or a tilt trailer with a electric hydraulic cylinder, or if you've got a tilt trailer with electric hydraulic cylinder, all those things eat juice. And this keeps everything charged up and boosted, and it doesn't overcharge or regulate your battery. And it works with the solar panel. And it's a great device, and that's going to keep me always live with all my electronics. So that's a new thing we just put on yesterday. Auto brake. This is a brake system on my trailer, and it really helps me when I have vehicles that I'm reviewing that don't have a brake controller, and there's a lot of them out there still. So this will work as a brake controller by itself. It's like in Europe. In Europe, they don't allow you to have a brake controller in a truck. It's all on a trailer, which makes a lot of sense. So this one has, the circuit boards, all those things in there. It's got accelerometer, detects motion. So when you turn your truck on, it turns on. When you hit your brakes, it activates. It's proportional. So as much brake as you give it in the truck, it'll give the trailer brakes that. And you can adjust that. And it's really easy to hook up. But it's out here on your trailer. And then, you can use it for everything. And you don't have to worry about it if your truck you're pulling with does have a brake controller, because it'll shut off. When it senses the other brake controller, it shuts off, which is really good. We use IntelliHitch occasionally, and that's on your receiver hitch. It's a purge, electronic surge. This is electronic surge. And what that does, if you don't turn your brake controller in the cab down to 0, it'll fry your brakes. It'll do a bunch of terrible things. But this one doesn't do that. It shuts off when it detects the brake controller. But it also comes with a remote, so you can use that, when you're swerving on the road or something, or on a mountain highway, you can actually hit that fob and give it brakes by itself, or test your brakes. And you got 3 different settings on it, so you can really put some power to it. But it's got an accelerometer that detects motion, but it runs off the brake wire. When it knows the trailer is supposed to be braking, it does all that automatically. Easy to wire in, it's waterproof. We've been using them for years. Now, of course, we're using Gen Y hitch. That's our main hitch. This is the Torsion Stabilizer. It's actually a torsion cushion from Gen Y hitch on a bumper pull. They also have them for the goosenecks. But this isolates the movement of the trailer and the truck. And inside here is those torsion rubbers like there is on horse trailer axles. And it works very well, so I don't feel the trailer move around, and if I had horses in the back, they wouldn't feel me in the truck. But we're also using the weight distributing hitch made for the Gen Y, and I like the spring arms with in the back here. If you can see this is where your sway control is. As it goes around corners, this rubs on the metal and actually slows you down. Most all weight distributing hitches are run off of friction. And this is great for heavy trailers. This will really give you some lift. I use a toolbox on the neck because you can never have enough space for storage. And in here, I have all my straps, tire wrenches, jacks, chains. And here's my favorite straps. This is shock hitch, shock strap hitch. I always forget which way these are called. They're called shock straps. Now, this is a big one. This one I used to hold cars with. Has these dog bones here which stretch. Has a great ratcheting handle. And I have the smaller ones I use for the ATVs. But this is so awesome. You never have to worry about a strap bouncing off, because that's what they'll do. If you don't have some kind of a system like this, when you're bouncing down the road, they'll bounce off your ATV or your car. I've watched that happen. But now I tied them up and I can hook them to the frame, hook them to the rack. On an ATV, I can hook them, you know, the tire thing is a lot of people use, but you wrap them around a tire. If the tire has a slow leak, then you lose pressure. This way, I never lose pressure. I can tighten this up with a ratchet, and you're never going to have anything bounce loose again. And I use about 8 of these on the back trailer with ATVs. And this trailer will actually haul 3 ATVs and a side-by-side. So I use this trailer for just about everything. And that's that toolbox. And then this is my wind deflector. It's mostly a rock deflector because you haul cars, you haul things, you don't want to get pitted by those little BB rocks that come off the highway. You put this on here, you won't have those little BB rocks hitting your windshield or messing your paint up on your nice car. Now this is my big toolbox. I put this on here for all the extra chains that I haul. And I haul a lot of stuff. And this is really cool. It's big and I can lift it out of there. If I have some trucks are real long, I take the winch off. I take this toolbox that just lifts out of there that I can put those big crew cab long beds on here. So I like space. I like to have storage, and that's what all this does. One thing I do too, I always put a circuit board on my trailers. This gives me a place to run all the wires, and it's all protected, and then I don't have to splice into my wire cable. Another one of my favorite accessories is this breakaway cable from Zip. And it is so cool. It's coiled. It's a coil spring. Instead of the cable getting hooked on stuff, this always stays nice and tight. That's your breakaway if something should happen. But, you know, I've had the steel cable ones, like on a fifth wheel, you know, and it's just bouncing around back there. You turn a corner. I've had a fifth wheel where I turned a corner and that regular cable wrapped around part of the fifth wheel frame and pulled the brakes when I was going around a corner. That's kind of a surprise, going around a corner and your trailer locks up. So I use these Zip brake cables from Fastway. It's a Fastway product, and that is such a good breakaway. You should all buy them. They're cheap, they're easy to install, and then you're not going to have a problem with that loose cable on your breakaway. My favorite brake controller that you'd use inside the cab is Direct Link. Yeah, it looks like a CB, but it's not. It actually has the big box underneath the cab, or underneath the dash, out of the way, because you don't. If you want stuff that's too low, your peripheral vision, you have to keep looking down to see it and see the gain and all the things you're doing to it, where this one is set up here at eye level, which I really like because that's when I get the most troubles, when I'm looking down. But this from Direct Link plugs into your onboard diagnostics port, your OBD2, so it knows everything your truck knows. And you got 1,000 gain settings. You got it where you can change the setting when it slows down. You can change it when you're setting still. You can change it for heavier trailers. You can just adjust the heck out of this, and this is your emergency your manual control. So if you're coming down a hill or you're swaying all over the place, you can use that and just brake the trailer individually like you always need to do. Whether it's snow or you're getting forced off the road, you want to make sure you do this and not the foot brake. But it has all these controls directly. This is also a Tucson product, and I love it. It's out of the way, and it's, you can adjust it all there, but that's all you see, and it's tucked in out of the way, and it's the most powerful brake controller out there. So if you need to control in the cab, this is the best one out there.
Of pickup truck questions, right?
Right. Where do we go for the answers?
We go to the Truck Nuts book.
Because we're truck nuts. And we wrote the book, Truck Nuts. We're nuts about truck, the ultimate guide to buying a truck, or to looking at a truck, or judging a truck, whether it's diesel versus gas, new versus used, what your teenagers should learn about trucks, all that. You do all kinds of cool tests.
Yeah, we do a lot of testing. We do the iGauntlet, world's toughest towing test, up the mountain and down the mountain. We do MPG testing on the highway, loaded with trailers.
Yeah.
We do off-road testing. A lot of that data is in this book as well, and it's a one-stop shop for truck information.
That's true. We test trucks, maximum capacity, up to the biggest grades you can do on the interstate.
Yep.
So we really put them to the test. And, you can get all the facts you can't find anywhere else. We do MPG tests, which you can't find on any sticker anywhere. So, all that stuff that you can't find is in the book.
And you can find the book at trucknutsbook.com. There are links to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and all the other bookstores as well.
So read about your truck nuts.